Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, what is the factor form of 2x minus 5 times 4x plus 2 plus 5 times negative x squared minus x plus 2? So we're going to be looking for the factor form. So what does it mean by factor form? Well, basically it means that you need to work out the problem and you're going to need to find me the answer, but factoring your answer, which means you got to find something that the terms have in common and bring it outside. So when I get to the point, I'll explain a little bit more. So right now, what we need to do is work out the problem, right? See if we can do any combining like terms, simplify my expression, and all that. So let me write it down. Now, anytime that you see parentheses, like the first two that I just wrote right now, it means that you're going to multiply those two. Is that right? Now, the next one, I have a 5 outside the parentheses. So that means that you're going to multiply that 5 by everything that is inside your parentheses, right? Okay, so let's start with my first two expressions, okay? 2x minus 5 and 4x plus 2. So the first thing I want to do is work it out. You can do distributive property if you feel that you're very comfortable with that, or you can do the box. Remember the one where you put the terms on the sides and then you find the answers inside? So it's up to you. We can do the box for the first two and distributive property for the last one. How about that? Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a box. So I'm going to do my box way on the bottom. Okay, so I have it right here, right? And if you recall, the way that we use the box is by using the length for the first term, which will be 2x. Draw a line to separate that from the negative 5, right? Then on the left side, I'm going to write down 4x, draw a line to separate that from positive 2, okay? And we're going to multiply 2x times 4x. It gives me 8x squared. Negative 5 times a positive 4x gives me a negative 20x. And 2x times a 2 is 4x. And 2 times a negative 5 is a negative 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, don't worry about who can I combine. Don't worry about that. We're just going to write down all my terms inside the boxes on my problem. So I'm going to start with the further left. And I have 8x squared minus 20x plus 4x minus 10. Now we're going to use distributive property to work my second part of the problem. So I'm going to multiply 5 times negative x squared, 5 times negative x, and finally 5 times the 2, right? So that 5 multiplies everything inside the parentheses. And I am going to get 5 times a negative x squared gives me a negative 5x squared. 5 times a negative x gives me a negative 5x. And 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, so now we can actually combine like terms. Is that right? So see if you can find anything else that has x squared. Yes, right? And that would be negative 5x squared. So these two will be combined. Okay, what is my answer going to be? Well, 8, think about 8 minus 5, right? That's a 3. So I'm going to get 3x squared. Okay, now I want you to find anything, if possible, that has an x. Anything? Yes, right next to it, right? The 4x. Anything else that has an x? Yes, the negative 5x. So all of those, you're going to need to combine them. And to be careful with that, well, I'm going to write down my numbers on the side over here. On the right is good. So I have negative 20, positive 4, and negative 5. Is that right? So I can combine the negative 20 and the negative 5. That will be negative 25. and then a positive 4, right? And that will give me a negative 21, okay? So I'm going to write down minus 21x. My constant, I have a negative 10 and a positive 10. So what answer do I get? They cancel, right? Okay, very good. They're going to cancel, and that's my answer, okay? So now the question is, how can I write this in factor form? So factor, remember, means I need to find a factor that they both have in common, okay? So how do you factor? There's different ways to do it, okay? So we can work out actually my 3x squared. Factor means, remember, prime factorization? So I'm going to separate my number, which is my coefficient, and my variable, right? And 3 is a prime number, so I cannot break it apart no more. I cannot do nothing. And this one, actually, I can go x times x. Is that right? And these are my prime factorization for that. Now, the next one is going to be 21x. So I will separate 21 and x. And then 21, factor for 21, easy, right? 3 times 7. And those are my prime factorizations already. So what do they have in common? Because remember, when you want to factor, you want to find something that they both have in common. Okay? So I do see that they both have a what? A 3. So I'm going to write it down here. And I do see also that they both have an x. So guess what? That is your common factor. Okay? This is your common factor. Okay? We can say this is the greatest common factor if you want to, right? And I know what you're thinking, Miss, but I do that only for fractions. Well, we're still looking for the biggest common factor that they have. Is that right? So that would be 3x. So what do? Well, that 3x is going to come outside the parentheses. And then I'm going to write down something inside. Is that right? So from this one that is here, I want you to focus on this only right now, which it's one of the terms that you did not highlight it. And I hope that you tell me, Miss, the one that we did not highlight was this x that is here. Exactly. Therefore, that x is the one that goes inside the parentheses. Okay, we have a minus. Now look at the right side. What is it that you did not highlight it from there? And I hope you say the 7th. Is that right? Therefore, we're going to say minus 7. And that will be my answer on factor form. So let's look at the answer choices. And my answer will be then letter C. Very good. Look, this matches exactly that.